Hello and welcome to all of you, wherever you may be watching from across this continent of ours. This is the SABC News Channel, independent and impartial. I'm Peter Ndora and you're watching The Globe. Thanks for tuning in. Let's start with your headlines. Police in Palma, north of Mozambique, have found 12 beheaded bodies buried outside a hotel property. Strikes in Nigeria are threatening to overwhelm a number of sectors, including hospitals and the judiciary. Israel remembers the 6 million Jews killed by the Nazis during the Second World War. Police in Mozambique's coastal town of Palma have shown journalists 12 beheaded bodies buried outside a hotel property. Whilst the identities are still unconfirmed, local police say that the victims were believed to be foreigners who were staying at the Amarula Hotel when militants attacked the establishment last month. Dozens were killed, including a KwaZulu-Natal man, Adrian Nel.
It's difficult to know which nationalities, but Amarula is a hotel that hosted many foreigners at the time of the attack. Many foreigners thought it was the best place to find protection, so they ran there. They had security, but the insurgents were stronger. They broke into the hotel and took 12 citizens of different nationalities, tied them up and beheaded them there.
The video showed disturbed earth, where De Silva said the bodies had been buried, adding that he had conducted the funerals. A national police spokesman said they could not confirm the contents of the footage, but were investigating. Militants attacked the town, which is adjacent to gas developments and home to numerous foreign companies, on March the 24th. The government has confirmed dozens of people were killed, and aid workers say tens of thousands have been forced to flee. On Sunday, the military said Palma was now completely safe. A meeting of regional leaders about how to respond to the insurgency was due to conclude on Thursday. Mozambique's President Filipe Nyusi has come under pressure to accept international help to fight the rapidly escalating violence in the northern Cabo Delgado province. On Wednesday, he said Mozambique would tackle some aspects of the problem alone, for reasons of sovereignty.
Immediate technical deployment will be directed to Mozambique to aid its fight against the insurgents in its northern region of Cabo Delgado. This is a resolution for the Southern African Development Community's Double Troika Summit, led by Botswana's President Mokgweetsi Masisi. This was released, a statement was released following their meeting, and without details, it's committed to technical deployments, but it's not clear what that deployment will entail. President Cyril Ramaphosa was also part of the Troika meeting, which was convened to discuss the ongoing security challenges, also expressed concern on the impact the terrorism is having on the people of that region. Mozambican President Filipe Nyusi was also commended for his leadership despite harsh criticism from other frontiers like human rights advocacy groups. More than 700,000 people have been displaced and hundreds killed since the insurgency broke out in 2017. Willem Els is a Senior Training Coordinator on Terrorism for the Institute for Security Studies, and he joins us now via Zoom. Thanks so much indeed for joining us. Good to talk to you again. The last time we spoke, it was about this same troubled region, but a gruesome discovery today that there were foreign nationals beheaded outside a hotel.
Good evening, Peter. Yes, that is indeed, it's gruesome. It was expected as there were quite a few foreigners in the area. They were not all of them in the hotel. Some of them were in camps adjacent to the hotel. So, we actually found out after the attack that the priced security that was in place, and where President Nyusi actually put his own reputation on the line when he promised to tell that he will secure the area and that it is safe for them to secure and to continue. So on the very day that they announced that they are going to continue with the operations there, this attack came and it caught everybody off guard.
What do you think this means? It seems as if it was deliberate from the piece that we've just shown there, that these foreign nationals were selected. Do you think that the militants are trying to send a message to the world at large?
I think so, Peter. You know, an act of terror is normally an act of communication. They communicate to the victims, they communicate to the government, they communicate to the world at large as well. And there's nothing more prevalent or more that is working better for these people when they can actually attack an expat or a foreigner. We know that there's been 2007 locals that have been killed, and that did not spark the interest of the international community as much as these expats that were killed now.
So what does this mean in terms of dealing with this? We had this SADC double troika, and they talk about a proportionate regional response. That sounds like code, and we don't quite know what that means.
That's correct. If you look at the statement that they issued today, they said that it was a technical deployment. So you know, that's a very vague word. It's never been used in these terms or in this part of the world before. In some of these communiques. So it's something new for us that we have to decipher, but it also leaves the door open for a lot of speculation. So what we think, what they will do now, you know, whenever you deploy, especially with a military deployment, you need to plan, you need to practice, there's a lot of things that need to get into place in terms of logistics and the other things. So what we think is that they are buying time towards the 28th to send in a group of experts to do a survey, to do an assessment, and also to come up with a plan. You must remember that these people that are up there, they are not the experts. They rely on the experts to draft all these plans, to draft all the resolutions and recommendations, which they will then discuss, and based on the expert advice, they will then make an informed decision.
President Filipe Nyusi seems, I'm not sure what the word is, but quite determined to try and solve this problem internally and maintain sovereignty. But I guess as this thing escalates, and it has been a problem since 2017, intervention from beyond Mozambique's borders surely must be now quite urgent.
It's quite urgent, and I also think it's on the cards now. You see, the challenge of President Nyusi is that he should have allowed these foreign boots on the ground and intervention to assist him at an earlier stage. It would have been on his terms. But I think he lost his traction. He lost most of the cards up his sleeve. We know that Total also ceased operations in the short term, at least. We do not know if they're going to go back. We know Anadako made a decision that they will only postpone their decision on investment. So we don't know if they will come back. At the end of the day, about 5% of this whole project that is in the hands of the Italian company ENI, they will most probably proceed. And you know, what could have been 100% success for them in terms of money and the gas exploitation of the resources, that could have been used to the benefit of the country. They might, at this moment, they're only looking at 5%, and that is a huge blow for him. So I think there's a tremendous amount of pressure from the Troika and from SADC on him to change his stance. If he should continue with this stance, at the end of the day, I believe he will not be in control anymore. The decisions will be made on behalf of him by the Troika behind the scenes, and he will have to agree and go with them. So I think he maybe overplayed his hand at this stage.
As we speak now, how much of a threat is the insurgency in Cabo Delgado for the region as a whole? Or might that escalate only after SADC's troops or some kind of intervention actually happens inside Mozambique?
Peter, you see that at the moment with this insurgency, what started off as pretty localized with mainly local people and some Tanzanians, we see that there are currently people fighting there, according to reports, from all over the continent, and even from some Arab countries, according to one report. So it became a regional threat when they attacked Tanzania. And we also there are indications that there's one group that is actually operating from Tanzania. So we've long passed that situation where we can say that this is just a national challenge. It became a regional challenge, and what your problem is that the more successful this group is, the more people will flock there, as was the case in Syria. The more successful ISIS was in Syria, the more people flocked there to go and fight from all over the world, including South Africa. So we see that there is a huge influx of people that want to join them, the more successful they are. And they demonstrated to their followers that they are on top of this game at the moment. They are holding all the trump cards.
What do we know about these insurgents? They seem to be very well equipped, and it looks like they've been receiving some kind of training. Are they so organized that they could cause a problem for any kind of intervention that does take place, and also spilling over to wider areas, including South Africa?
Yeah, you can see how they spread in a matter of 3 years, and how they gained in strength and everything else. It is just phenomenal. We must also understand that they had access to more than 1,000 vehicles in Palma now that they could loot. So they are mobile now. They managed to secure a lot of 4x4 or 4-track vehicles, military vehicles. A lot of the armament have been seized by them. So these guys are well equipped after this intervention. But we also see that even though they started off looting arms from the military and the police with attacks, they also started to receive some weapons, according to reports, that are being smuggled from all the way from Yemen to Somalia, Kenya, and then down to Cabo Delgado with dhows. They are part of the ancient trade route, and these guys are exploiting that, along with, of course, the drug smuggling and all the other things that are taking place there. So we see that they locked in there. Another source of weapons also is they receive some weapons from the DRC. There's a well-established route from the DRC. We know that they swore allegiance with ISIS, as did the ADF in Eastern DRC. So they are working together. They are training together. We also saw that when ISWAP in West Africa swore allegiance with ISIS, they immediately started to assist them. They first with doctrines, and then they started with leadership challenges. They started to assist him with that. They also sent them money, and they started with training, and weapons was also going their way. So having the backing of this international organization boosted them as well.
So if we are to learn lessons from Al-Shabaab in Somalia, Boko Haram, Nigeria, and other insurgents in the Sahel region, even if troops are sent to Mozambique by SADC, long-term, the only solution is some kind of political settlement. And I wonder what that might be with a group such as this.
That is very true, Peter. If you look at these type of insurgencies and responses from governments all over the continent, whenever they went in with a single approach, a high-handed military approach, they never succeeded. So I hope that SADC and Mozambique will learn from that and take a note from that book of them and look at the more holistic approach. You know, you have to address the root causes of why this insurgency happened at the first place. ISIS only came on board later. It was all local grievances that were the drivers of these people. These people were being neglected by the government. The corruption of government that is endemic, the complete collapse of the social contract led to these people being disenfranchised. You know, the unemployment rate is some of the highest in the country, and that is extremely high there. And there's no prospect for these young people that the government will help them or that they will get a job even. So with these people moving in, they created their own luck now. They joined with these external groups. They are getting salaries. They are getting paid now, and they have prospects. They have to change that around. They have to start to win back the hearts and the minds of the people, because that group cannot operate in an area where they are not welcome. If they don't have the hearts and the minds of the people, it's very difficult for them to operate. So that is the first thing that the government should do. We don't say that they don't need a military approach. A military is always part of it, but it must include all the others as well.
Willem Els, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed. Your insights are always greatly appreciated. Thanks for your time.